Hey everyone, and welcome back to DM's Forge. Today, we figured we'd make you guys an adventure. A nice level 1 adventure, bringing your party together. And what better place to start than a tavern? Because nobody's done that before.
Nope.
I feel like it's a really unique idea, and we need to get onto this before anybody else steals it. Obviously, we're kidding. It's kind of a trope, and everybody's done it. Well... So everybody's kind of done it, and you actually kind of hear a lot of complaints about starting in taverns, like it's so overdone. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of one of those quintessential parts.
Like, you just have to have it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not running an adventure unless you have some type of tavern-y thing go on.
Yeah, exactly. It's not Dungeons and Dragons without a dungeon and a dragon at some point, just like at some point in your D&D career, you've got to start in a tavern. But... like I said, people are kind of getting bored of it, so we figured, why not spice things up? Why not actually make the tavern part of the adventure? And so we're going to do our best to try and come up with something on the fly, because that's what we do here at DM's Forge. So first things first, the tavern, the location. We know it's going to be a tavern, but what about the area around it?
I think we would go small.
Go small, go with like a little village or hamlet or sort of thing? Okay, so... staying away from towns, it makes sense because that's probably where heroes are going to be starting out.
It keeps things a little bit more simple.
Yeah. One road in, one road out. A few other little roads that lead to more like houses. One tavern, probably one blacksmithy. Things like that.
Maybe in the same place.
Maybe in the same place. That would be amazing! Just get woken up in the morning by the forge being lit.
Yeah.
The sound of hammering as chicken cooks on the same fire.
Well, while you're waiting for your sword to get done, you're having a drink.
Right? That's awesome. I'm down for that.
There we go.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing?
We need a name for this place.
The Sword and Spirit?
Oh, I like that one. Yeah. Sword and Spirit it is. Sure, there's going to be somebody working on it outside, and there's like a little window into the kitchen so that you can like pass food over to cook on the flame.
Oh, definitely.
There's a smell of like kebabs and stuff.
There's a viewing window where customers will actually see their food get made while their sword gets forged.
Right, or it's getting sharpened, just like right behind the forge.
Or if they really want to like spice things up, they'll take a red hot sword and like put it on a steak, and it'll be sizzling, and it's a show. You
just actually like use like weapons to actually put meat on to put over the fire.
That'd be sweet.
Oh man, I need this in my game now. This is probably like a blacksmithy that decided, you know what, I'm gonna expand my business. Our place doesn't, like our town doesn't have an inn or a tavern, which is really weird because most places have somewhere where you can consume alcohol.
Yeah, but maybe they just didn't have enough resources to.
Maybe the old one burnt down in a mysterious fire. And nobody knows what happened to it.
So now there's like a stone wall in between the forge and the tavern.
No, I mean like the blacksmithy decided to burn down the old tavern down the road.
Well, there's a villain.
I think we have our villain. Okay, so eventually we get our party members into the tavern.
Yes.
We've given a vague description already. You have that little viewing port, like it's not even a window, it's just an actual open
They just didn't build that side of the wall.
Maybe, or like they decided to knock down a previous window and just like leave the glass out so that you could go and look over the fire.
Is this going to be like a TGI Friday situation where like there are swords just like all over the walls, like little knickknacks and whatnot?
Yeah, we got it.
Like here's my work, here's some of the duds, and here's...
with like little price tags on them as well. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's the viewing room, it's the dining room, the ale house, the tap room. Okay, and so they walk in. Let's figure out a way to actually introduce everyone to each other. Because there's going to be locals, it may only be a few people. It is a small town after all, but this is a communal place, so everyone goes to the tap room. But how are we going to actually get everyone involved with each other? We've got to have some sort of igniting spark. We could set this building on fire. That'd be a very short adventure.
That would be.
Where...
why would they save this place?
Unless...
Yes?
Okay, hear me out.
I'm listening.
This is usually you saying hear me out.
I like this.
What if he never hired the old barkeep? What if everyone assumed he died in the fire?
Ooh.
But he's actually been living in a cave with some goblins, and he's been ruling them with an iron fist?
I've been thinking like a Phantom of the Opera situation.
Maybe, yeah. And he's kind of just a little bit unhinged after the fire. So now we have two kind of villains. One person is a villain in the past, and the players may learn about that through progression of the story, where they kind of have to decide, okay, am I going to punish this Phantom of the Opera character?
Yeah.
Or are we going to take it to the new innkeeper and say, all right, you need to pay retribution?
Mm-hmm.
Assuming the bottom level is made mostly out of stone with a wood floor, that's just generally how medieval constructions were, at least in medieval England.
Mm-hmm.
The top part would likely be wood, plaster, and things that would set on fire. They'd be careful about it just because there's a blacksmithy down there.
Mm-hmm.
So we can weave in the fact that it's going to be awfully suspicious that this place managed to actually catch fire.
Okay.
We could say maybe the person with the highest perception, like passive perception, would have noticed somebody sneaking around earlier.
Or maybe there was a goblin that just seemed out of place.
I mean, it's a goblin.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like maybe somebody like made a Molotov cocktail, threw it in, and just let the place burn. So do we want that to be the goblin or do we want that to be the guy?
If it's the goblin, and they do somehow catch him, Goblin's not going to give up his leader. And now you have a way to bond with the new tavern owner, blacksmith.
Yeah.
So now you're now on his side, and then once you learn of the past details, now it's a little bit more of a moral question.
And we could also, when the players first come in, we can sow some rumors about goblins being around. But we could also
there could be a wanted poster up.
We could also sow some rumors of possibly a stranger in town that's been causing issues.
Could you put on the tavern wall like in memoriam, more or less, for the previous owner or previous tavern owner? Like his burned down, but we're still going to try and honor his name. And
maybe that's on one of the tables. Like, you know how they have park benches with plaques on them?
Yeah.
It'd be easy for the blacksmith to blacksmith to make a little plaque and just put
maybe
that
some
on
of the bar stools survived or something. Or
and he just dedicated something in this tavern and
to try and get rid of some of his guilt.
Yeah, and that something just happens to be where some of the players sit. Just pick a player at random. If they decide to sit at a table or a bar, maybe the second person you introduce. When you sit down, you notice that this table seems a little bit different from the others. It's a little bit more ragged. It actually looks...
seems like it has some burn marks on it.
Yes, maybe sanded down a little bit just to make it more presentable and relacquered. But there's also a plaque in the middle. In memoriam to... let's come up with a name now. Do we want to go with a human? Human town.
Yeah.
Let's go with... just
Paul.
Okay, Paul. Let's go with Paul Donaldson, because I was thinking Donald.
Okay.
Let's say there's the barkeep and maybe 5 other people.
Yeah.
6 people total.
1 or 2 at the bar, a couple at the tables.
Yes. So they could easily help one person each. But after that, they're going to have to go back into the fires and actually, like, bring somebody out. The door's been locked and barricaded from the outside.
Okay.
Because, obviously...
Cabbage cart has fallen over.
Or something.
Okay.
Somebody wanted to keep everybody in. Whoever that could be, I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll never know.
Donald Paulson.
He would know.
Yeah.
Donald Paulson?
There it is.
That's the new barkeeper. Essentially, the exits are barricaded. Somebody's going to have to open the door somehow or find a new exit.
Quick question.
Yes.
How many players for this adventure?
We're going to do like 4.
Okay.
Yeah, assume 4 level 1 players.
Okay.
With, at least 1 good strength score, 1 good dex score, and probably 1 good charisma score and 1 good wisdom or intelligence score. In theory, just because sometimes it happens that everybody's dex based.
Yeah.
Or everybody's charisma based. You could have a warlock with a bard and a sorcerer and a rogue that wanted to focus on charisma instead of dex, and dex is their second thing. So it's not inconceivable that you could have an array of different characters, but all with the same, like, strengths to them.
All right.
But I'd say it's a pretty good chance that there's going to be at least one person who can get the door open. I'd say there's going to be an immediate panic. Somebody could probably take charge and say, or one of the players could hopefully take charge and say, all right, just calm down about the door. Either I will bust it open, or go through the window, or potentially go upstairs. You couldn't crawl through that opening that we had earlier just because it
for
goes
the-
straight onto the forge.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that unless they can figure out a clever way. So, yeah, that's the first situation. It's more of a challenge of the brain, just get the players thinking creatively.
Okay.
Door, probably going to be simple to bust open. Give it maybe a DC 13 strength check. It's a simple town tavern. It's not Fort Knox. And then as for the windows, that's just a clever idea. Just let them hop out. Maybe let's just say there's one other window and it's been bolted shut and you just need to
Bust it.
open. Lower DC check, just DC 10 probably, just because they actually were thinking on their feet and decided to use the window. So it's easier for them instead of just going the brute force way.
Okay.
How obvious do we want to make it? Because the cabbage cart being out there in front of the door would be a subtle thing, but we could have a goblin actually running in and just like smashing a Molotov cocktail. Let's say the goblin ran and snuck in. If people are looking around, or if they've got a good passive perception score, they'll have noticed the goblin sneaking around and with the Molotov cocktail, and they can try to prevent something from happening. If not, then suddenly they hear a smashing sound and a blaze starts up behind the bar. Bartender's kind of a little bit trapped behind the bar. There's a fire in the way. He could climb over, but he's probably not thinking in his right mind. Or he's paralyzed in fear because he can see, like, behind the flame, like, this little goblin creature, like, feral. And
Okay.
then the goblin runs upstairs, probably clambers out one of those windows because he's tried to lock the other windows so he knows nobody can get out. Gets out the upstairs window. Either climbs down a drain pipe or over, like, a rafter awning sort of thing, and escapes that way. If the players, as soon as like the smashing happens, I'd say if anybody wants to make a perception check, like if anybody asks, okay, I look around, do I know what caused the smashing effect? Give them a perception roll. Let's say it's not going to be too hard. Again, like, DC 12, 13?
Yeah, I was thinking 12.
Okay, DC 12, just because they've already made themselves known. It would be a higher check, maybe DC 15, 16, in order to spot the goblin up to mischief. And that's assuming they're looking for trouble before it even happens. Let's say if they have a passive perception of 16, probably not, and a regular perception roll of 14, 15.
Okay.
Again, assuming they're even looking for trouble, because they're looking for the trouble. They see a goblin coming down the stairs, sneaking down, lights a bottle, and then throws it behind the bar. You can let them interrupt you to try and stop them. Like, I pull out my bow, try and shoot the thing. Chances are it's still going to drop the bottle and probably immolate himself if that happens.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he's going to throw it behind the bar and run upstairs.
Quick question.
Yes.
Putting the fire out, or do they let it burn? Or is that just something you're going to have to think about?
Yeah, you can let them think about that. There's not going to be a huge excess of water. There's going to be a little bit of water behind the bar, just to serve people water if they want it. But they're going to have to get through to the bar, and they're going to have to suffer heat damage. I'd say if they decide to do it, if that's their first action, give them a chance to do it. They're going to take like 1d4 fire damage just from the flames licking them and actually creeping up over the wooden bar and furniture.
Okay.
And sure, I'd let them put it out.
Okay.
But they're still gonna have the problem with the door and the window locked.
Because I was just thinking, we don't actually want to destroy our tavern.
I mean,
stuff happens, I guess. But
after that, we'd probably want to say that they would know it was a setup, but from the fact that there's something blocking the door. They could ask around, or if they decide to investigate the area, perhaps they'll find goblin tracks. Why don't we also take this opportunity to sow in some rumors with the other people, saying, not another tavern.
Oh, yeah, fair.
So that people...
This is the second time this has happened.
Like, not again!
Yeah.
This town must be cursed.
Yeah.
And that point, this new person, Donald Paulson, is not confusing at all, is like interjecting, saying, no, it's not a curse.
Yeah.
It's not a curse. It's just two totally unrelated accidents.
This is feeling like a Scooby-Doo mystery. I love it. You're gonna rip off the mask of Donald Paulson and Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Donaldson. Of course.